Hey traders, Alex is here with the Crypto Lab, featured by Trading Analysis. Every Thursday for the last couple of years we have been delivering latest macro and crypto analysis, and of course we will do the same this time. Lots of things are happening on the macro spectrum, so we're going to go over that, and then we're going to switch to cryptos and look what is the current technical outlook on the Bitcoin Ether, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cross, couple of other cryptos, and then we will switch to your comments and chart requests, which you can type in the comments box. So let's start. We just had the latest ADP report, so that's a preview of the non-farm payrolls, which are going to come at Friday. We are expecting here, as I see in the calendar, 224K, unemployment rate 3.4. So next week we also have CPI, which will come before the Fed meeting, which comes at 22nd of March. And as you can see, we have a major shift here on the CME Fed tool, where we jumped from 25 basis points after the Jerome Powell testimony in front of the Congress to a 50 basis point move, because Jerome Powell was pretty hawkish with the opinion that the rates cycle, it's still not done. There is more room to go on the upside. And now 50 basis point move is priced with a 74.9% of probability. Of course, this can change next week when we see the CPI. If we see the CPI comes lower, around from 6.4 to 6, or even below 5.9, this also might shift into a favor of 25 basis points. So I think still this is not final. But for the last 2 days, this was a major shift, because before, as you can see, 1 week before we had 25 basis points, almost 68.6% chance. And then 1 day ago, we fell to 21.4%. And consequently, 50 basis point move was at 31.4 and jumped 1 day ago to 78.6%. And now I think it fell a little bit. Let me just refresh this page, because we just had the jobs data. Maybe something has changed, but not really. So this is the latest reading. When we switch to May, target rate now moved from 525 to 550, moved at 525 to 550 with a 57% chance we go 25 basis points, so still much time to that. So let's focus on March with the newest data, which will come on Friday, and of course next week CPI. So if we look on the charts, this is in line with our 10-year yields, although we are seeing a yield curve inversion even more coming to play, because the shorter maturities, like a 2-year, jumped significantly, and longer maturities are still stable. 10-year yields is trading around now at 3.96, close to 4. We are looking for some type of a triangulation and one more move up. If this starts to break these previous highs, then this might be more directional. Anyhow, we do expect this to be the last move on the upside, and then for the rest of 2023-24, maybe even beginning of 25, we do see this correction starts to unfold after a 5-wave move, when the COVID outbreak started in 2020. We had a supply chain disruption. Economy was basically put to a dormant state all around the world. Inflationary pressures from the disturbance in the supply chains has become pretty sizable. We see yields moving higher. Of course, afterwards we had start of the Russian-Ukraine conflict with the energy prices going haywire, which added to these inflationary pressures further. But if we look a couple of commodities, I'm tracking also oil and Thomson Reuters index, which tracks a number of commodities. Commodities has been not doing much in the last couple of months, just a sideway to downside. So we didn't change much in the prices of commodities. And since we are operating with a lagging data, I think this will affect the CPI. Oil also is very sideway to downside. Net gas also fell sharply in the last couple of weeks. It has a little bit of pullback now, but it's still beaten up pretty sizably down. I do think that this CPI will come lower, which will affect this maybe for the triangulation. Let me just go to 10-year yields, maybe a little bit down, up, down, and then final push up towards this 525 to 550. I don't know. Yeah, it might be a May, June, July. I have a question from Zeus. Hi, Alex. Do you think Fed will pause rate hikes in June? Yes, the charts are actually agreeing with that observation. Some around from, let's say, April, May, June, July, these 4 months, we might be at the target rate, and actually we must start to pause. In my opinion, technically, we will even start after a small pause to go lower on rates. And actually, this correction, I think it will allow the risk on assets to rally on the upside. I do think that dollar will move to the downside sizably. So I do see dollar index still in this WXY correction or a couple of months back and forth. On the latest move on the upside, we should reach 107, 108 levels, somewhere around there. And from there, I think we're going to see at least a measure move to the downside, which means that will reflect potential move down in yields because of the interest rate differential. The other central banks are still in rising mode because they're late. Fed is usually very proactive, and it has been moving on the upside with rates much before than the other central banks. So we have still ECB lagging, also Bank of England, a little bit more on the upside. Bank of Canada also. I think today they left their rates on the same, 4.5 to 4.5. As you can see, overnight rate stayed the same. So they're making a pause because before last rate decision, we were jumping to 4.5, and now there seems to signal a pause in rates moving further on the upside. So probably they reached their upper limit, and we might expect that with also 10-year yields and the Fed funds rate some around this region in the couple of next months. So our focus definitely should be potential correction on the downside, which will create conditions of a little bit better liquidity and also easing off with emerging markets with the lower dollar, which will also create a cheaper financing and the potential rallies in the stocks and also crypto markets as well. So this is our macro kind of a case scenario, which has been, I must say, unfolding pretty well so far. So we think there is a little bit more on the upside left. So if we go to cryptos and if we look what's going on the total crypto market cap, as I said, I'm not prepared to put this way for here. This is the total crypto market cap chart. After a 5 waves down, I think we are in the first either one or a move on the upside in 5 waves. So if I drill down to a smaller time frame, this can be some type of either ABC W or ABC for W, X, Y, or it will be just an ABC. We will see, but definitely I think we are in the corrective pattern here after a clearly 5-wave move on the upside. So I do expect this to finish at some time in a couple of months, maybe even before. Maybe Bitcoin will and crypto total market cap will react as a leading indicator for this, what we see to happen. So we will see that support levels are at 923 billions, but we might go complex here. I won't mind to label this as a W, move up in X and Y, and we maybe find support a little bit lower. But anyhow, the main takeaway from this is that we see this still in a corrective fashion, especially only when you see only 3 waves down. Some 3 waves up with X, 3 waves down will be also very corrective, which is a kind of a tell where the market is heading after this correction is done. So let me just go and open the Bitcoin for you. So not much change from our charts last week. We get this move lower that we were looking in the Bitcoin. So this is a daily chart. Let me go on a 3-hour chart. So we were looking for a first move down as a complete in W, up in X, and then we have a wave A of the Y wave. Support is around 20K to 20,500, somewhere around in the territory of this previous lesser degrees wave 4s. So I think there is still time. I will not label this as an ABC and a finished correction yet because of this macro condition, but I'm on guard what's going on there. For now, Bitcoin is tracing out the pattern we were looking for. We also flagged a possibility that this was a high. We were uncertain at that time because we had 2 targets. First target was reached and the secondary one was also monitored because this was a very impulsive move on the upside, but then we failed at the first target. We labeled that as a 3-wave move in W, X, so ABC in W, X, and now we have a first A wave of the Y wave, B wave up to 22, 23K, and then a final push down, which might actually corroborate with some of the targets or close when the dollar will reverse lower, and it will be the last, maybe the Fed meeting when they're going to push rates higher, and then Bitcoin might rally. First kind of announcing the new 2-year cycle. So don't forget, on next year in this time, we're going to have a halving cycle, and Bitcoin has been in the past actually unfolding on the time with this halving cycle going on the upside. So we will see this will repeat. Of course, we need macro conditions to align, but we don't need to change this chart currently because it is functioning well for now. So I'm going to be looking for a little bit more upside and then a final push down and completion of this wave B or 2 and continuation further on the upside. If we start to break this impulsively to the downside, we have some of the retracement measures which we'll put in the next crypto lab, and then we will deal with it. If this starts to go further lower, then this thesis that we're going to find a low might be problematic. So we're going to watch very carefully this green square here, which is basically a zone. Rarely it is happened that exactly these levels are respected. We might go a little bit more down or finish earlier. So that's why I like to have a kind of a certain zone around plus and minus where we might find this potential support. So from there, I do expect to see 5 waves up and a pullback, which will be a very telling story for the further continuation on the upside. So let's dive into Ether and let's see what the Ether is doing. So we have this unstaking, I think, soon. So we're going to see what that will produce. But in my opinion, Ether is still pretty bullish in this 1-2-1-2 version. I think it's a more ripe, like Matic, than Bitcoin. So I have this as a 1 down in 2, and then I have a lesser degree 1-2. Also, I have mentioned this volatility expansion pattern. So actually, it is decreasing volatility pattern where you have the largest move, and then you have a smaller one, then even smaller and smaller, and then you have a convexity of these two lines. And usually, where we come close to the end, we have a breakout either on the upside or on the downside. I think in this case, if we count this as a 1-2-1-2, this might be a breakout on the upside, which actually confirms on our Ethereum Bitcoin chart that Ether will be a dominant one, at least for the sizable portion of the next move on the upside. My view is going to go on the upside for now. Of course, this cross Ethereum Bitcoin might express also Ethereum Bitcoin go to the downside, but Ethereum goes at a slower pace, and that's why it creates a plus over Bitcoin. So that can be the case as well. But I will deal with my primary scenario, which is going to be still on the upside. So support levels, sorry, I need to change this. Support levels are at 1,461. So this will be a zone, of course, for a potential support levels here. And I will be watching that zones at also what is going on here with this wave pattern. So I have this as an ABCX. So we have a down in A. We might have up in B towards this moving average on 3 hour, and then move final push down in this Y wave to make the secondary degree or lesser degree wave 2. So if we switch on a larger time frame, also 200 moving average, which we traded below while this volatility pattern has been more decreasing. As you can see, we traded below 200 moving average, all of this portion, but then we started to trade even after the FTX crash. Ether didn't push to new lows. We stayed above it. And also from there, I can count 5 waves up. And we are now above 200 moving average, even on a weekly level, as you can see. So at these levels around 1,420, there is this moving 200 moving average kind of agreeing for now with our observation and possibly producing a larger move on the upside. So Ethereum Bitcoin still looks nice from the perspective of Ether moving higher. We are still in consolidation. We do see this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now wave 5 on the upside in development. We are very far from the wave count invalidation. Post fourth wave, which you see in a blue color here, you can clearly on a daily level count as a 5-wave move, very clear 5 waves up. And then post developments are some type of a corrective pullback, and it's even might be finished here. Okay, so I still expect a touch lower, but let's see. So for now, I'm gonna keep it because we don't see anything of an impulsive nature. We don't see a break of this corrective channel yet. But usually when I monitor this and I see something happening, I do tend to change this a touch on the upside or on the downside, depends how these internal patterns are developing. So I'm going to stay on a bullish side yet here because I do see this being corrective. It will be handy that we see more on the upside very soon. You usually don't want to see the wave 2 drags in time that much, especially if we continue. This is about it potentially, so I will be very glad to see a further move above this channel, pullback, and then continuation towards this target. for the rest of 2023, which clearly kind of explains why the Bitcoin will be underdog in a sense of 2023 over Ether, which means that Ether will go higher at a bigger pace. So we didn't change much of the outlook for our members. So Binance Coin still stays in some type of E-wave in triangle. Matic is behaving nice. We do have this, sorry about the mess. I'm gonna try to, so we do see here some type of development. So correction potentially still not done. This is not triangle, it stayed from the last time. So we do see some type of complex correction here unfolding with the supports around these levels at 0.92. So I will push this just a touch. We still don't have a degree violation here. And we are still looking Matic as the Ether. Maybe this is an ABC, XABC. Maybe Matic will start earlier to go on the upside because we do expect for now to see a wave 3 higher. Any break over downside levels and the wave degree violation also on this daily RSI is kind of complying. As you see, we are very close to these levels where the usually Matic starts to move on the upside. So we put Matic here in the same basket as Ether as the pattern is concerned. I don't think this is a flat. If we continue going further lower, 0.76 will be my next target. So then I will have to switch to possibly 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down. But I don't think that this will happen. Okay. I didn't do a wave count on Matic Bitcoin. I don't know if I even have it here. I will have to find it. Let me just do that quickly. So we want to see Matic over Bitcoin. So this will be this chart. Let me just see where I can find it. Yeah, it seems that I have a wave count on that. So I do look for 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and then we already starting on the upside for the wave 5. So it's also bullish. This ABC, I don't see this as a nice 5 waves. So I'm not gonna anchor this here yet. So maybe we're gonna get something like this. And a little bit more downside. So I do see 5 waves up from lows and then a corrective pattern unfolding potentially in a diagonal 5 waves. So this might be a leading diagonal in A. We went up in B. Let me just see some fib ratios for B. 786 exactly, which is good. And then we are dropping lower. So probability is still on the side. This is going to go on the downside. I'm not gonna put my attention so much around it. If it goes on the downside, that's fine. This will be the target. If it starts itching higher, we will just address that as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then look for a smaller time frame development to further higher. But overall picture is still that Matic is looking higher over the Bitcoin in the at least 2023. Charles, I'm gonna post USD pound for you in Discord, so just be patient when I finish this. I saw your request, and I will be posting it after I finish the stream. So yeah, so that's it, guys. From the I didn't see anything of that which goes against our wave count. So we do see on many of them this lasting touches or possible B wave and second wave. Here this is Polkadot, Matic I already showed, Binance Coin we showed, Solana is also posting some type of a B wave or second wave target. So we are looking for a correction still unfolding. Maybe we are close, so we monitor this as well. So everything is pretty much going as our case was trying to I will not say predict, but kind of make the best hypothesis what might unfold using all of these things that we use for our analysis. So macro overlay over Elliott, and also the technicals, the usual technicals that many markets are doing. Alex, I'm not gonna do that type of charts. So if you want to have chart requests and have this thing, you can become member of Trading Analysis, and then you can ask as much as the charts you like. We do fulfill our clients' chart requests. So let me look ape because there is another request for that. And yeah, we looked for a B wave, so exactly to our target. As you can see, equality. So we need to see 5 waves up, which we still don't. So I usually like to wait. I'm not in rush anywhere. So I'm not gonna say that this is over until I see some type of 5-wave move on the upside, challenging this 13.6912 levels in wave 1 and 2, or A and B, and then I can be going with the strongest probability for the continuation on the upside. So for now, it respects our support levels. ABC pullback may be completed, or ABC for W, for, XY. Also, you can structure that as a complex, but what is most important is what is and how this next I will say development will actually, if this starts to look as a 5-wave move, then definitely after a pullback I will be more bullish on it. Sorry guys, I keep pressing this. I have on the OBS couple of these buttons to change the scenes. Yeah, so pretty much that's it, guys. We are awaiting the CPI data next week, and of course we are going to monitor that for you and try to layer that with the technicals that we usually do. And if you want to see more of our work, you can join crypto trading membership at Trading Analysis. You also have a trial, so you can give us a benefit of a trial to see what we do there, and how do we additionally help our members to at least stay alive on these crazy events that we had over the last couple of years. So I think majority of our clients has been going through that pretty much safe and sound, and now they're ready to deploy their capital if we see this longer term perspective, and we are preparing that for them. So if you like, you can also give us a heads up with a subscription, or subscribe to this channel, or you can also give us a heads up with a like button, which will greatly affect our viewing and a rating of this content on the YouTube. So thank you guys, and see you next week. Bye bye.